Well, hey there everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make acrylic ornaments by using gold gilding. So acrylic ornaments, I'm doing a whole series on them right now. I have several different methods where you can do paint and engraving and all sorts of stuff, but I wanted to do one where you add gold gilding to the back and then you can add your vinyl decal to the front, and it just makes it really elegant and very classy looking, and I really love the look of this. So I'm going to show you my process for adding the gold gilding to the acrylic ornament. You can get these in a few different sizes, so I'm using a really large disc version here that I like, but you can also get them slightly smaller, and some of them even come with like a little ornament sort of hook silhouette up at the top. It's really up to your preference. I'm going to link all of my resources in the blog post that goes with making acrylic ornaments. This is all linked for you below in the video description if you would like to head over there and get the supply list. Templates are also going to be provided for you. I have several templates, and of course you can apply your own as well. So make sure you go and download those templates as well on the blog, and that link is below for you in the video description. The other supplies you're going to need for this project is going to be some vinyl. I'm using smart vinyl here with my Maker 3, but you can absolutely use just any other type of permanent vinyl that you would place onto a mat as well. Your Explorer 2 can work, your original Maker can work, Explorer 3, Maker 3, even the Cricut Joy works for this. Any of the Cricut machines will work, but you will need some form of cutting machine to cut out the vinyl. I also need a weeding tool and a Cricut scraper. I have a little bit of ribbon here to be able to create a loop that I can put this onto a Christmas tree. And then I'll be using what's called gold flakes. I refer to it as gold gilding. It's obviously not real gold, but it is a flaky-like material that we are going to be rubbing onto the surface here. And the way that we're going to get this to stick is by using Easytack adhesive spray. And I'm going to be sealing it with some Mod Podge clear acrylic sealer. So you will need those as well. And again, all these materials and resources will be linked in that blog post, which is below in the video description. If you're watching this directly on my blog, you can just scroll up to the supply section to find the templates and the links for all of these resources. Alright, so I have two discs here, and pretty much all acrylic discs or ornaments, they're going to come with a film on them. So you're going to need to remove that. You can kind of pick at it with your fingernail. You can gently use a weeding tool to get it started and then peel it. Now what I want you to do is make sure you're only peeling one side. The reason for this is going to be your working side right now for adding the Easytack and the gold flakes. But we want to protect the film on the other side here so that we're not getting any residues or other things that we don't want on this surface, and it stays perfectly clean until we're ready to add the vinyl on that side. So you only want to remove one side here, which is going to be your working side that we're currently doing to add on that those gold gilding flakes. Okay. So just getting that off, leaving the other side alone. I'm just using a shoebox here, a shoebox lid here, just to kind of protect my surface as I spray this on. Now, working with these gold flakes, they aren't harmful, they're just very messy. So I'm going to be putting on a pair of gloves here just to easily keep my hands clean in between takes here of what I'm showing you guys. So you may want a pair of gloves yourself, or just wash your hands right afterwards. But like I said, it's not harmful, it's just practical to be a little less messy here. I've pulled some of these out of the package. They're going to come differently according to different brands, but this has a little bit of tissue paper layered between. Now the minute you touch this, it's going to start clinging to any surface, so just be mindful of that. That it's going to break apart and get brittle. That's just how it works. Now I'm going to be using this Easytack here. Make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. I have a very large window open right next to my desk. So I'm going to be spritzing this on. Now you want to make sure you hold it at least 10 inches above. We don't want to see any like liquid running around on this. So very light spritzes is all you need. And you'll want to wait about 2 to 4 minutes to let it sit just a little, and then we're going to start adding on the gilding, and I'll show you that part next. So I'm going to shake this a little bit here. I'm going to hold it up. Now once I've sprayed this, I'm going to actually transfer it to a silicone mat because Easytack is sticky and we don't want the Easytack to cause it to stick to the top of this box. So I'm going to put it on a silicone mat here. All right, so now is the point where we're gonna actually add on some of these gold sheets and flakes here. The easiest way to do this, if you're working with something similar to mine, it's the same color on both sides. So it works best to sort of pull a sheet of it and kind of just let it fall, which is what I'm gonna do. Okay, and I'm just gonna rub this with my finger. You can start with a like little pat down first, and then you can kind of like move into sort of a rubbing motion, and it's gonna fall away. You're gonna get like lots of flakes, and it's gonna kind of tear on you. That's exactly what's supposed to happen, so you're not doing anything wrong. But you want to press it down to that Easytack. And it's okay if you don't cover the entire ornament. That's really up to your preference. With my first example here, I only did sort of an abstract partial, which I think looks really cool. But if you wanted to kind of get it completely solid, then you could do that as well. This one's going to definitely be a little more solid than my initial one. But you want to pat and sort of rub with your fingers until it's sticking to that surface, and you probably will have some excess. Now this is not very expensive, so I don't have any problems throwing away some of this excess. Honestly, once it starts making contact with any surface, so you're gonna have to pick it up, it's gonna tear. So I don't recommend trying to save too much of it. I got this huge pack here, which will probably make anywhere from 30 to 40 ornaments easily, and it was $7. So it's not super expensive. When you're gonna get the edges here, just take your finger and run it along. The edge, and all those little flakes will come off there. There we go. That one turned out really, really well. Now your other side is going to look a little hazy because we still have that film on it. So it's not going to be showing that bright brilliance until we peel that film. But that's a good thing, because otherwise we would probably be having Easytack and some of this stuck to the other side, which would make applying the vinyl very difficult. Now there's a few little cracks in here, but I like the way that looks. It looks authentic, more authentic that way. So I'm really happy with that one. I'm going to set that aside for a moment and do this one. And then we'll clean up the work area before we move on to the next step. Alright, so for this next part, I'm just using some clear acrylic sealer. This is the Mod Podge brand, but you can buy other brands too. You'll just want it to be clear. Just going to give this a little shake, and again, before you do this, well-ventilated area. And I have just a piece of paper underneath here to protect my surface. And you just want to spritz very lightly. A couple hits is all you need to help protect that. You don't want to soak it, and you don't want it to be super close. All right, so while this is completely drying, I would give it at least 15 to 20 minutes before you do anything else. Let's go ahead and cut out our vinyl decals that we're gonna put on the opposite side in just a moment. All right, so like I said earlier, I am using smart vinyl, but you can absolutely use regular vinyl on a mat. Any cutting machine, any Cricut cutting machine will work just fine. I'm gonna use the vinyl roller here as well. I'm gonna slide that underneath. I've already prepped and loaded and sized all of my ornaments, decals in Design Space. If you need more tips on that, how to upload an SVG, if you want to use these SVGs, how to size things, visit the blog post that's linked below, because I'm going to walk you through that in more detail. I'm going to push that double arrow button when it is flashing and ready to go, and it's going to measure our material to make sure we have enough length. And then we will be prompted with a flashing go button. It may look like a Cricut icon if you have an older machine, or if you have the brand new machines, and then the flashing play button. And it will proceed cutting out our vinyl. Okay, so I'm just weeding the rest of my design out here. I've pulled away the excess vinyl, and I'm going to weed out the center of my letters here, get all that out. So my design is needed, and now we need to transfer it. So before I transfer it, I need to remove that film that we left on the back side, the part that we did not put the gold onto, because that's the side that the vinyl is going to go on. So I'm just going to get that off real carefully here. You can use your fingers if you like. I'm just going to grab it with the tip of my weeding tool, pull it back. So this is the side that we're going to be adding the vinyl to. I have some standard grip transfer tape here. I'm going to trim this down. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and lay my transfer tape right on top of the design there. And then we want to burnish the design, so burnishing the front and the back. Burnish is just a term for rubbing the design onto the transfer tape or onto the object you're transferring it to. You want to make sure you're burnishing the front, but also burnishing the back. So once I've done the front, I flip this over and I burnish the back of the design as well. Okay, once you've done that, you'll want to lift the liner away from the transfer tape, especially if you're using smart vinyl. So that's what I'm going to do. Anything that is not grabbing to the transfer tape, you want to press, crease, and roll it away to get it to go to that transfer tape. And go nice and slow. All right, there we go. So I have my design here now. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to place this. Be mindful of where the hole is so that you know it's facing upright. So I'm going to get my hole right there at the top. I'm just going to hover this until it feels center to my eye and it looks right to me. Make sure that the vinyl is not covering the hole or anything important like that. There we go. I'm happy with that. So now we need to burnish it onto our ornament here. Alrighty. So once you've done that, go ahead and remove the transfer tape. You want to pull straight back. You don't want to pull up because that is going to make the design want to lift. So you want to pull straight back. Go slow. If anything is not sticking, lay it back down, burnish it again until it grabs at your ornament blank here. Alright, G popped up a little right there. Just push that down. Okay, so now we have successfully added the gold backing and we've put our vinyl on. All we need to do now is we need to thread the hole with some ribbon or baker's twine in order to be able to hang it onto a Christmas tree. So I usually cut a 6 to 8 inch piece of ribbon or baker's twine. Always cut more than you think you'll need, that way you can just trim it down if you'd like. And I bring the two ends together so that their two open ends are matched together. And I'm going to thread that through from the back. Get those pieces pulled through and you'll have a little loop like this. You just want to bring the tails through the loop and pull it tight. Right down just like that. And now you can loop this onto a Christmas tree by tying it around a Christmas tree branch. You might want to clean up your ends after you've sent it through that hole, so I'm just going to trim that down so they look nice and clean. And there you have it. That is how I would create gold gilded acrylic ornaments with vinyl over the top of it. And you don't need to seal these or anything. It's permanent vinyl, so it'll bond to it as time goes on. Obviously keep them in a cool, dry place for keeping them for a long period of time. Make sure you go and grab the designs on my blog as well as all of the links to the supplies that I used here. That link is for you in the video description. I would love to see how yours turn out, so make sure you pop over to our Facebook group, which is also linked below, so that I can see your beautiful creations. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time. And Merry Christmas. Bye for now.